In this video, you're gonna learn the best ways to get rid of those sugar cravings once and for all. This is the Elevays show. I'm Dr. Isaac Jones.
And I'm Erica Jones.
And we are just so excited to bring you this information because listen, sugar, according to the research, is just as addictive as what?
Cocaine! Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's just as addictive as cocaine. It's crazy. And you know what's amazing about that is that it hits the amygdala of the brain, the
pleasure center,
the
right?
pleasure centers of the brain, the same way that cocaine does.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So the industry knows this, and they know that if they can just get, you slowly
weasel their way
weasel in a bunch of sugar and hidden sugars into foods, because there's so much hidden sugar, and we're going to get into that in this video. There's so much hidden sugar that you're eating that you don't know about, and it's a manipulative strategy the industry uses to keep you fat, unfortunately, to keep you low energy. Because sugar, what does it do? It spikes insulin levels, and when insulin levels crash an hour to 2 hours later after you eat a high carb meal or hidden sugar meal or even a meal that you know has a lot of sugar in it, cortisol, all the stress hormones, etc., increase. Your energy goes down, and it's an addictive problem that is a very, very serious thing that we want to talk about how to combat in this video.
Absolutely. And what's really important is that we kind of relate to you, because if you're someone watching this video, you're probably a little bit health conscious already, right? So you're not exactly, lined up at the Krispy Kreme drive-thru trying to get a dozen donuts to wolf down. So this is not so much talking about the obvious sugars, right?
Yeah.
This is the kind of sugar that's showing up that a lot of times is kind of covered in a healthy glow, but it's not really that. So for instance, I know for me, when you and I first got together, I was really working on my health, and I remember you introduced me to Ezekiel bread because I was very early starting out and trying to just replace those really toxic refined sugars in the breads that I was eating. And so what I found was, because I was working a high stress job, I used to work in pharmaceuticals, I would come home and crush 5 slices of Ezekiel bread, like the raisin bread, covered in honey, just eating so much of that. So there's a lot of healthy types of foods that people can be eating that's still feeding that sugar, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that grains, they break down into glucose faster than sucrose, which is the table sugar, does, because amylase is an enzyme in your mouth that actually breaks down the amylose, which is the sugar in grains, that then turns it to glucose. By the time it hits your stomach, it's already glucose, and it spikes your insulin just as fast as straight glucose would. So yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But there's hidden sugars in bread. There's hidden sugars in a lot of the condiments that we put on our foods, salad dressings,
ketchup.
Tessamase is some of our favorite because it doesn't have a lot of that. There's a lot of really good brands that you can use. But listen, the reality is there is a formula that happens when you actually get addicted to sugar.
Yes.
And this has been shown in the research at Stanford by B.J. Fogg. There's a trigger, right? There's an action, and there's a behavior, and then there's a result, right? So there's trigger, behavior, result. And so if we can change this number one thing, we can oftentimes change the behavior and then change the result. So Erica's going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the first thing is just to know what's triggering you. So whether it's emotional for you, I know a lot of people struggle with emotional eating, not just women. Sometimes it gets pegged on women, but a lot of people struggle with that. So whether you're dealing with distress or bad emotions, or there's a relationship that's causing heartache for you, or you just stressed out, your kids got you pulling your hair out, or your job's going crazy, those types of things, that's when you can find yourself in the pantry, wolfing down, a bunch of cookies or something like that. So being able to identify those triggers and to know, okay, I'm starting to feel that anxiety, that overwhelm coming on. I'm starting to feel emotionally distressed. Being able to pinpoint when that happens, you can make another decision or another choice about what you're going to do from that, right?
Yeah, and recognize that external environmental triggers are controlling you. Do you want those external environmental triggers to control you? You are ultimately in control of your reality, of your thoughts. take back control of your emotions, take back control of your life, and don't let these external triggers that are outside of your control you to be essentially a slave to eating this sugar. So
exactly.
think about that. And number two, we really need to get this stuff out of the house. Like,
yes.
Control your environment, control your workplace environment, your desk environment, wherever you're going. When you're traveling, pack some snacks so that
yes.
You can actually control the food that you're eating in the airport while you're traveling, etc.
I know, and I think that's really, really important, is that when you don't have the type of food in your house that's, creating the sugar cravings, all the heavy carbs and all that, when you remove that out of your environment, you're removing access. And a lot of times, sometimes we just eat stuff because it's there, it's available. And one of the things that we do is we have treats every now and then, but kind of one of our rules, and one of the things that I do, is if we're going to have a treat, we'll bake it. So if we want chocolate chip cookies, we're not going to go to the store and buy a whole massive bag of, cookies that we've got to eat through, some gluten-free cookies or whatever. We'll make a paleo version, and, one that keeps us from making them all the time. Because it's like, okay, you're having to actually put the effort forward to bake them. And then you don't have tons of leftovers, that you're trying to eat and get through. And it's not something that we're regularly doing. So that's another strategy to just keep it out of the house as well.
Absolutely. And the last thing that we'll say is that you've got to take control of your sleep. Go
yes.
to elevays.com, check out the sleep articles that we have there. There's a lot of really great education around sleep and sleep hacking, but you've got to take control of your sleep, because if you're not getting good sleep at night, ghrelin, the hormone that, think of it just as the grrr in your tummy, right? When you want to eat something, typically you crave something and it's sugar, right? When you're not getting that good sleep, that ghrelin is dysregulated, and that hormone is dysregulated, and then people are eating way more sugar when they're having poor sleeps the night before than if they were getting good sleeps. So if you can control your sleeps, you're going to help to normalize hormones, you're going to help to normalize ghrelin, you're going to eat less sugar, and those are 3 things, practical things that you can do that will have a massive impact in your ability to carve sugar cravings and curb, yes, sugar cravings. Thank you, sugar cravings, and really, take control of your life again.
Yes. So if you want more awesome strategies, including those articles on the sleep tips, the sleep hacks that we have, head over to elevays.com or click the link associated with this video. We've got lots of great stuff for you there.
Yes.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll be back with more great videos soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.